everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And y'all, I came in today to talk about the 13-year-old boy that killed 9 people down in Texas. Now, the story is that this 13-year-old was driving a pickup truck on the highway there in Texas. From what I'm understanding, I believe the speed limit was 75. While driving this pickup truck, he had a spare tire on the front, I believe, driver's side. And that spare tire blew, causing him to veer off into oncoming traffic. And he crashed into a van carrying 9 golf players from a school, killing all of them. And actually, I believe 2 of them, are in critical condition. The others were killed. Some of them were ejected from that van. The driver, the 13-year-old driver, he was also killed, along with a passenger that was 38 years old that was riding with him. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this story is because I know that in rural areas that a lot of parents allow their children to drive vehicles on their property. Heck, I live in Ohio, and you drive about 20 minutes outside of the city that I live in, and you are in a rural area. Now, driving trucks and all of that on your private property, allowing your child to do that, I don't see a problem with it, because you're on your property and there is no danger to the public. But when you allow your 13-year-old to go out on the open highway, that endangers the rest of us. It doesn't matter how good of a driver he is, he's still an inexperienced driver. And let me tell you guys why I say that. Several years ago, when my son was about 18 or 19, I was going to give him my old vehicle. In the meantime, him and I were out looking for a new car for me. So we had ventured to another side of town. We lived on the north side. We ventured to the west side of our town to look at cars on that side of town. When we got back on the highway to head back to the side of town that we lived on, my front passenger tire exploded on the highway. Y'all, I yelled and screamed, but I held that steering wheel and was able to go across 3 lanes, y'all. 3 lanes without hitting anyone, without hurting anyone, and without any injury to me or my son. When we came to a rest, we ended up right on the grass where an oncoming ramp was. And when the car finally came to a stop, I grabbed my son and we sat there for a second, just going over what just happened, making sure we were okay. And then my son started laughing. And I'm like, boy, what you laughing for? We almost died on this highway. And he said, Mom, you did all of that with one hand. And I said, what did you mean? What do you mean? And he said, you know how when a parent is slamming on brakes and their child is in the front seat and they put their arm out in front of their child? My son said that that's what I did. I didn't even realize that I had done it. All I knew is I needed to get across those 3 lanes, and I guess I knew that my son needed to be okay when we came to a stop. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because that is an experienced driver. I've been driving since I was 16. I'm 57 now. So because we have experience, we know the feel of the car, we understand what to do in certain situations. Now, I'm not going to say that it always works out for us, but because we've had, over the course of the years that we've been driving, several different near misses where someone might, speed in front of you and you have to slam on your brakes or veer, you learn how to drive. Those parents allowing that 13-year-old out on that highway, to me, was negligence, because anything that he didn't know, it endangered the public. And proof of that is he has killed several innocent people. And this is so very sad. A lot of times when we are teaching our kids to drive, I have one of my kids right now that when I get into the car, with them, I have to say certain things that I know that they're doing. And I'm like, why are you doing this? You need to be doing this. Now, I know it aggravates them. But when they get aggravated, you know what I tell them? Hey, look, I've been driving for 40-something years, 41 years. You've been driving a good 10. Take my advice. It's no shade against you. It's an experienced driver, commenting or teaching a younger driver, a little something, something. I don't know why a lot of times these young people, when we try to offer our advice or guidance, hey, I noticed you did this, it'll be better if you handled this situation this way. They get all up in their feelings. I remember learning how to drive and being in the car with my dad and him telling me certain things about how to parallel park, making me do it a couple times until I felt comfortable, or backing into a parking space, or parking out on a city street, and how to do it with these where you don't have to keep, correcting that park. I just remember listening and appreciating the advice, and even to them making me, redo it a few times until they felt that I knew what I was doing and I felt comfortable. I even remember being on the highway or about to get on the highway with my dad one time, and he was telling me about, changing lanes so much. I remember him telling me that he hated when he got on the highway and there was a car up ahead of him, and they're weaving in and out of traffic. He told me, get in the lane that you want, ride that lane. He said, now, don't get me wrong, if there's someone ahead of you and they're driving incredibly slow, take your time, change lanes, get in front of them, judge your distances. Make sure that when you get in front of them, that you're leaving enough space, the whole nine. Just teaching me. This whole tragedy with this 13-year-old boy is so very sad, because these college students, they're part of a golf team, and they were heading back, I guess, after like a tournament, and they never made it home. This is very sad to me. The negligence of one family, that family that allowed that 9-year-old to be on a highway. And I've driven in Texas before, and I know that the speed limit is 75. And if it's 75, people are doing 85 and 90. I remember being on that highway, cars tailgating me, weaving out of traffic. It felt like everybody was driving like 100. I'm from Ohio. When we're out on the open highway, it's 70 miles an hour. In the city, it's like 65. Some areas, depending on where they are 70 as well. But I remember driving on a Texas highway and feeling like the traffic around me was just going so fast. I felt like that I could not take my eye off the road for 1 second because things were moving so fast. But that's called experience. Y'all, tell me what you think of this story. Do you think, because I'm not sure if the 38-year-old person that was in the vehicle with the 13-year-old was his dad, or was it just, a family member or something? But to me, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I just think that if it was my child or spouse or something killed by this young boy, I would be very upset. And I know me, I would be looking to blame someone. Y'all, thanks for watching the video. Tell me what you think of what occurred and your feelings about the 13-year-old driver. As always, thank you for watching my video. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.